Welcome to the I Love Weddings podcast. I'm here with Sabrina and Renosha, two of the best wedding planners in the country. And I did want to start with talking about women in business in particular, because I was having this conversation with Ru, and one of the things that I saw was women are very underrepresented in a lot of industries. Like we know that, right? We know that as a fact. But then when you look at weddings and wedding planning, but let's say wedding industry in general, globally around, I think 70 to 80% of small to medium scale wedding businesses are female led, which is amazing. In Sri Lanka, it's a little bit less. I think it's about 60%. So I wanted to ask both of you guys, what do you feel like some of the challenges are in leading a wedding business as a woman?
You want to go?
You
Or?
go.
Okay. I think, I think this is just my opinion. I think it's just balancing expectations versus reality, to be really honest, right? Expectation for a woman is that we have to fulfill 100% in every role we do, because a woman is just not a wedding planner or a florist. We are also mother, we are also a wife, we are also a daughter. So everyone expects us to fulfill that role 100%. That's what I feel. Like if you fail in that, and then they look down on you.
Yeah.
But in reality, we are also human.
Yeah.
We are also tired. We are also emotionally and physically drained because, you know, I mean, take this holiday as example. I'm running around with my kids, but I'm also answering calls and replying to emails. My kids don't understand, and no one is blaming them, obviously, but they don't understand I am an entrepreneur, I'm a wedding planner.
Yeah.
And nor does my clients understand I'm a wife and a mother as well.
Yeah.
So there is a balancing of that, and it's quite challenging, sometimes explaining that to your family or explaining that to your client. So there is that line where it's very draining and you need to find that balance.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge challenge for me. I mean, I've learned through time how to manage that, but if someone's new, I mean, when Renosha gets married, have kids, I suppose, then you go into that and then you will face that,
Yeah.
So would you say then, I mean, because of that, like the expectation for women is a lot more than for men. Like I mean, we're seeing a disparity there.
Because, like when we go for a wedding or when we are at an event, you need to also think about what's happening at home. Is the nanny there? Is there food at home?
Yeah.
All of that.
When-
But for a man, I mean, I'm not saying a dad is not questioned, but it's not so much pressure,
No, 100%. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's the same. Even if you're a wife, there are duties, and I think people expect you to do that. Or I don't know if it's like a cultural thing where we are like told you have to fulfill a certain duty before you think of your career or your ambitions or your dreams. So it is a lot more, I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but this is my opinion, that there is a lot of expectation out of us women that we need to fulfill that role before we also think about our weddings and whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's
Yeah.
it's more of a cultural thing, as in we see that more as Asians, right?
Asians, for sure. And I think, like I keep telling her, props to you. I don't know how you do that. Have less limitations in terms of that, I would say. So because of that, like honestly, I don't know some of the women how they do it, like while also juggling and that's awesome. That's amazing.
And we've seen a lot of people exit from the wedding industry because of this, Geisha.
Yeah.
It's too
I
much.
mean, it's sad. It's sad. Some of the really good names we're seeing now, because yes, it's their choice, and yes, it's because of what they want to do, and we have to respect that. But obviously, it's because their priority is their family at the end of the day. But there is this norm that's created, women staying out late every month, every day, who's at home, who's managing the kids, who's looking after doing their homework,
And the same sort of scrutiny is not put on men, obviously.
No, it's not. It's not. But that's just how it is.
I mean, it's important that we have these discussions and talk about it. I mean, your job requires you to be present, be present throughout, be engaged, and then to have people judge and say that you have to be at a certain place, and who's who are they to judge? You know,
True.
Exactly.
You're
And
performing
then
your
I also want to say of course, we have that irrespective of the gender situation as well. Running a business is generally a very challenging thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
For anyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on top of that, there comes those other expectations. I think that's where the balancing act is like a little,
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if this is relevant, but I think, I mean, not, see, we have a lot of newcomers coming into the industry, whether it's a photographer or wedding planner or florist or anything like that. Sometimes your work or your experience or what you put in is not enough for the industry. You need to
Yeah.
be heard and you need to be loud sometimes so people to hear you. And that's also a challenge,
Yeah.
sometimes, because what happens is, and unfortunately, because of this gender biasness or whatever it is, sometimes people do treat females in a very bad way just because you're a female. Not that I'm saying I've experienced it. I have
Yeah.
when I started. And I think that's when I started to say, no, I am louder than you. I can speak louder
Yeah,
than
yeah,
you. I'm being
Yeah, you
really
have to
honest.
assert-
No,
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
I
You have to
have.
be firm. You have to
You
assert
have
yourself.
to,
Yeah.
do this,
Yeah.
or it's not
I
going to
know what I'm
happen.
talking about kind of
Yeah,
thing, right? Yeah.
exactly.
So that, like, when you see that happening, is that more from other vendors, like in hotels and staff, or is it from clients as well, or like where are you seeing that generally, or is it across the board?
Across the board, I feel
Yeah.
like sometimes it's other vendors, sometimes it's clients as well. Yeah, sometimes the groom would just like disregard what you're saying, and like might listen to some man. There are hotels that,
Correct,
don't
yeah.
listen to us, and you're like, I'm not saying it's happening now, it's very less now, because
Yeah.
obviously you're seeing a shift in those industries
yeah.
as well. More young people coming, the
Yeah.
older ones are going off,
Yeah.
Sure.
But back then, I remember it was quite a challenge to like put down your feet and say, listen, I'm also with someone with experience, so I know what I'm talking about too. But yeah, those are like, I feel like those are the challenges I've faced. But
Yeah, like props to her. Like,
Yeah.
it's just very different for me because like my challenges as somebody who's, started the business like relatively young, I like building a team, like things like that are like the challenges that I have at the moment.
Talking about women in business.
Okay.
So, I mean, women leading the way in the wedding industry is fabulous. I love seeing that. And obviously, we know they are restricted from opportunities in the corporate world. There's a number of challenges like lack of access to funding, being left out of networking opportunities because guys have their boys' clubs and things like that. So now both of you guys were in the corporate world. So I want to see, what is it like when you came from the corporate world into weddings? Like, Sabrina, you're in banking, and Ridosha, you've been working as well, and you came
Yeah.
from a 9 to 5 job. So what needs to change in general? Very broad question, I know, but just one thing off the top of your head. What do you think needs to change?
in the wedding industry, from the
I would
corporate.
say, in general, I'm talking about women in business, not only in the wedding industry, but because you guys came from that background, what did you see that was there in the corporate world that needs to change? That, like, maybe now in the wedding industry you're seeing a little bit less of, but still something that affected you guys as a woman working in the corporate world.
It's very hard to answer that,
Mm.
Ishan, because I feel like, I don't know, again, I don't know if Rinosha would agree. When you're in a corporate world, yes, there are certain advantages for a woman to do certain things. It's very flexible in terms of, how do I say, there's HR if you want to go and complain about sexual harassment, for
Yeah.
example, We don't have that now.
So you don't, yeah.
We don't
yeah.
have that now.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they say call this number and that number we can, but we don't have that now.
That's
Having
as far as it
said
gets.
that,
Yeah.
when you are doing your own job, it's quite different. There's a satisfaction that you get that you don't get it in a corporate world. So I don't know how to really answer your question to say what don't we have, because
Yeah.
even hierarchy, like growing up the ladder, is also very different compared to when you're in a corporate world to when you're doing your own job, right? I feel like what we would lack is systems. We don't have enough
And some
systems.
boundaries as well. No? It's like,
Yeah.
a corporate client wouldn't message you at 12 o'clock in the night and be like,
Right.
hey, like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
what kind
Yeah.
of thing.
So like boundaries
yeah,
in general.
boundaries in
Yeah.
Boundaries and
general.
systems, I suppose, and
Yeah.
then obviously lack of respect sometimes,
True.
yeah, that is not there, but you get that in the corporate world,
Yeah. So actually, yeah, interesting point you brought up. Like because you have HR, you have
Yeah.
certain systems in place. When you're on your own now, you're running your own business, you kind of have to fend for yourself, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to deal with all of these things yourself.
Yeah.
So when those challenges come, and let's say you have a, challenging experience from a different vendor or client or whatever it is, then you have to face that yourself, and that can be really tough.
It is.
Yeah.
It is quite tough because what do you say or how
What
do
is-
you address it? Because you also want to make sure you are saying
Yeah.
the right way or
Yeah.
addressing that the correct way,
Yeah.
Especially when you have a team of girls
Yeah, true.
working till late, you need to
Yeah.
be mindful because those are covered by your corporate. If you have a team of girls, what time are you working till?
Yeah.
How are you going home? But now you're managing on that
Yeah.
point. So there is like, all those coming in, but also very different perspective from being in a corporate world and running your own business as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one more thing I wanted to ask you guys, like we see women represented more in fields like planning and photography, a little bit less in videography, but what other fields do you think you would want to see women in the wedding industry, like, when it comes to women working in the field?
Like I was telling Tiffany Chaz, some of the women that were unloading some of the chairs were like some of the actual people that were unloading
they
at an
were-
event were all women. And I was
Okay.
like, I
Oh,
took
that's
a video and I was like, Hish, this is amazing. They got
Yeah.
the job done like twice as faster. I know it's a like sort of a limitation, like physical limitation, but
yeah.
then there are women who can also get that kind of jobs done.
Yeah,
Yeah, of
there are a
course.
lot of
Because,
different
like, for
things, yeah.
example, Uber drivers or
Yeah.
like pick me drivers now are
Yeah.
women, right? So we
Yeah.
can have people. Not that we're saying again women are better
True.
than
Yeah,
men,
yeah,
but
definitely
it's
not.
it's because I think we naturally have that ability to multitask,
Yeah.
fast thinking,
And more
We-
efficient as well. I think.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, I think, been proven as well, like that
Yeah.
women handle those things and a lot of things better. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Under
when it
pressure,
comes to-
especially,
yeah.
because they get it, like they do it faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, that doesn't mean like we don't want like a
Male companion,
vendors, like,
definitely.
very
Because there are things
thankful
we
and
can't do,
grateful to them.
definitely, and we need
Absolutely,
help
yeah.
from.
Yeah.
It's nothing like that, but I suppose I would like to see more female representation in the videography.
Yeah, I was gonna say we
Definitely.
don't
Because they're
see.
We
great
don't.
Yeah.
I know one
storytellers.
person now who's twofold. I think,
Oh, I don't know them.
it's a new company. So I think his wife is a videographer. So I was just having a chat. She doesn't do wedding videography.
Right.
She does mainly for properties and,
Properties, okay.
all of
That's
that.
good.
But I was like, she does help the husband in the photography.
That's
So I
great.
was like,
yeah. I've
oh, wow,
seen,
okay.
the guys from Lights and Magic.
Harshana's wife,
and
Nipuni,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But Nipuni doesn't shoot, right?
She does shoot, yeah.
Oh, she does,
Yeah,
okay.
I did a
Oh,
wedding.
yes.
I've
at
seen her
Cinnamon
with
Life,
a...
and she was shooting as well. So
Okay,
she's
okay,
also.
all
I mean,
right.
she is kind of more on the management
Operations
and
side,
operations
yeah,
side. So
exactly.
she's managing the team.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's even more responsibility. So,
Definitely, yeah,
props to her
yeah,
for that.
exactly.
Yeah.
Getting back to your question,
Yeah.
so videographers, and I think more in the hotel industry for some reason, operations side mainly.
Operations side,
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
you
Yes.
always see men doing that. We need to see there are banquet salespeople who handle the wedding, but on the day, operations is more men.
Mostly men. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it's nice to see more there, I suppose. But I think overall, we do have florists, wedding planners,
Yeah, I think
photographers,
we have
Yeah.
other
yeah.
than for like the
videographers,
big
and
options,
then,
I think still on the photographer side also very
Not
few,
many.
unfortunately.
That's
Like
true.
other than
Anu, yeah,
Anu,
exactly.
not sure who else is.
Yeah, there
really
are
doing it.
few
I mean, there's
others.
Dulani,
Yeah, there are few others as
yeah.
well, but like small scale ones as well. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys about something a little bit different, something tech related. So now I've seen AI being used in wedding planning, where they're using AI to help couples envision what the setup's going to be like. but it's gone into a direction where there's a bit of backlash because they're seeing beautiful setups, and then the planners that are doing that aren't able to deliver on those. So now there's this whole sort of anti-AI sort of contingent, especially like clients, they're saying, and even wedding planners, they're saying, we don't wanna, we don't want to use AI at all in that way. And yeah, that makes sense, because if you're not able to deliver exactly that, then there's no point in showing a client this is what you can achieve and then
Yeah.
not, coming through on that. Are you seeing AI being used at all, or are clients like, or are you seeing like other industry people using it in that way? That's what I wanted to ask you guys. Have you seen that happen? It's just, I think, starting to happen. So maybe we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka is a bit slower that way.
I mean, definitely, I see like a lot of clients, like even when they share some mood boards.
Yeah, when they're sharing
Yeah.
it with
Right.
you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it used to be Pinterest
Yeah.
Yeah.
pictures, but
Yeah.
now it's more like
AI.
curated
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI mood boards, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, so
So when
it's
they come to you with
exactly,
that,
it's our
like,
job to sort of say, okay, this is practical, this is not, and then again, coming
Yeah.
back to your budget, this is what it would look
Yeah,
like. Kind
yeah.
of
Because
questions,
now
right?
it's just a prompt, right? You
Yeah.
tell what you want and then it creates for
Exactly,
you.
yes.
So
Yeah.
it's our duty to tell them, look, we don't have these flowers to start off with.
exactly.
So
If
you
you're gonna
need to
import them,
Or you
yeah.
have to
exactly.
import them.
If you
Exactly,
want to
yes.
import, then this is the cost.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also you can work with what we have here. And I
Yeah.
always say, give that creativity to your florists, because they would show something that is much more like, realistic, what you can achieve. Like you said, that it is happening, but we are slow. So it's not like it's really impacted us in a big way where we have got affected. Because I think, like Renosha says, we have to stand to them and say,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
I think that's where our experience comes to
yeah,
play as well
yeah,
as wedding planners.
yeah.
Can AI replace us, like in terms of design, like budgeting and all of that stuff? I think it'll be able to sort of like help the client's journey a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think it can replace us in a, like, with our experience.
Yeah.
We are
True.
able to tell them.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, like, you
How
guys
to
are dealing
navigate
with,
this.
you were dealing with humans, you're dealing with brides.
Yeah.
That's something
Yeah.
I don't think that can be accurately
Yeah.
like replicated.
Yeah.
But just actually on that note, I wanted to segue into, in India, they actually got funding. There was a company that got funding for an app that they developed, and they got a decent amount. They got something like 9 million USD or something like that in funding, and they developed a wedding planning app, but that was for the mid and lower level.
Okay.
And essentially, that was kind of replacing
The wedding
the
planner.
planning, but not in that sense. It was kind of like a marketplace, like that kind of thing, but with I guess, more features. So I can see that getting to a stage where it will be tough for, I think, entry-level planners and new ones coming into the market. But the advantage that you guys have are you're dealing with a different market. You're dealing with a higher-end clientele, and you're coming in with a lot more experience. So how is that kind of challenge going to be, handled by new planners when they come in? Like, what advice would you give them, you think?
What advice would you
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
them?
I don't know,
Wow.
because this is a completely new area
Yeah,
for me
yeah,
as well. I'm like,
definitely, yes.
I don't even know where to start when you're looking at those
Right.
kinds of things coming into the industry. Like, maybe the only thing I can think of is using it as a tool to
Help you,
assist
yeah, that's
exactly.
right, to assist you without thinking of it as a challenge per
Yeah.
se. 'Cause
Exactly. You can't resist it as well.
yeah, because
right?
I
It's just
think the
gonna be
new
part.
ones that will come are already exposed to those as well. Not like us. We would actually feel that it's a challenge. The ones who are coming up, who are people who have been using,
They probably-
ChatGPT to like write an
They-
email sometimes,
yeah.
So
Yes.
we
Oh,
would
that's the
like
other
think
one.
100 times how are we going to reply to this
Yeah.
email, whereas the ones who are coming up
Yeah.
would be the ones who have already used these, AI tools to. So I don't really see they need any advice from us, but I feel like if they feel like it is a challenge, I don't think they should feel it, because they've already used this and, like you said, use it as a tool to help them. And also these ones that are coming up are people who've already done their own weddings. So I don't see like It's not like they've been put in the wedding industry all of a sudden or anything, or they work for one of the planners, so they know, they
it's usually
know.
one of those two, right? Like they've
Exactly.
either done their own
So
weddings or
exactly. So they already know what it is. But Kishan, it's interesting that you brought this up because it's not just us wedding planners. I've recently had people who create their own invitation. Like, you don't really need these designers and stuff like that anymore.
oh yeah, because they're using like
ChatGPT,
Canva
Canva, and
yeah.
just, they're creating their own invitations. And it's a lot cheaper because to get it on Canva and then print it through a normal this thing, it's unlike those days. I mean, when I got married, like PETA was the only option. And then you got another company which quoted a lot more, and we had to do so many runs to PETA to just to get an invitation. So now you have these designers and really creative people who will have a huge challenge. Like I feel like more than us, it's the designers who will have this, because this is what AI is doing. You're replacing that creativity level, like
I mean, I can hopefully, clients are still going to a designer and an artist to create something specific because of their art style. But I'm guessing if it's not that, what most people are doing is, what you mentioned. I am starting to remember now. There's cases of people just putting in their pictures into models like Gemini and others where they can generate images and they'll generate a wedding invitation based on that. Even if it's like a cartoon sketch, whatever it is. Like
you can do it, right?
You can easily do it.
Because those days we used to find people to do it for you, because now it's just out there. So those people are more challenged. And this app that was made in India, yes, I'm sure it will help, even if it's in Sri Lanka. And I think I'm sort of involved with not an app, but like a platform where people can come and look at vendors and stuff like that. But it's up to a certain level. I'm sure this, I don't know how useful this app in India that you mentioned, but I suppose it's helpful for the couple to a certain extent, because you still need help on the day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because on
until the point we have a robot
exactly.
physically there.
On the day, it's a different story, because you need to tell the couple to come down to your photo shoot, or you need to make sure they're done with their makeup to. No one's there. Even if you get family involved, let's say, it's always chaos. So
that's true.
To keep
because
them
I
calm
think,
when they're having a panic attack. Things like that. AI can't do that to you.
Exactly.
It'll tell you to breathe.
Breathe. Just breathe.
That's
just
not
take
very
it
helpful.
calm.
That's not helpful. It's important to have somebody to
running the day.
Sure.
Because I think with this, I'm not sure about the details, but I think maybe they kind of rely on the hotels vendors, etc. All that.
Yeah.
That's different from, I think, a planner being there to take responsibility.
Sure.
So like you guys shoulder and you absorb so much stress as well from the client.
Exactly.
That's something that
from the
client,
client, from the vendors,
vendors,
everything. Everybody. So that coordination part cannot be done by an AI or an app, so that has to be done by a person who has experience. So I don't think AI can ever replace that, but we don't know.
Some aspects of it, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I did want to talk to you guys about Sri Lanka specifically, because we have a lot of, Sri Lanka related questions, and that is what part of the focus is for I Love Weddings. I want to promote Sri Lanka as a wedding destination. So we are seeing it, I think, become a more desirable wedding destination. But there are some professionals in our industry who are worried about foreign wedding planners coming in and taking work from us. Not only wedding planners, but even photographers, like whatever it is. But I wanted to ask you guys about planners specifically. So like, is there a valid concern for something like that happening? Is there something to be like worried about where like as a planner you would lose work? Because I know some planners specifically who've expressed that opinion.
Okay.
But what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel like, see, the moment you open the market for other vendors to come in, there is a chance the planners will also come in, right? What is stopping them? Because you see photographers going in, you see videographers coming in, you see makeup artists coming in too. The other day when we discussed with Dil, she was saying this. And so what's
Mm.
going to stop a planner from coming in? Because it might be cheaper for the couple from that country to bring in a friend,
Yeah.
for example. You know,
And-
that's what they
and
always
sometimes
say.
they just-
It's a
Yeah,
friend,
it's
yeah,
a
they
friend.
just they don't pay the
Yeah.
the
No,
vendor.
they
They just
don't.
fly them
Yeah.
and they cover their ticket costs.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
they
And
have
it's
an
like
experience.
and a
Exactly.
holiday
Yeah.
for them, you know.
So, I mean, I'm also wondering, like, how do we balance that? Because obviously, as a country, we do want more weddings coming in. We do want the wedding industry to develop, but there has to be a way to balance and manage that as well. So, I'm wondering, how do we do that? How do we make sure that maybe there's sort of a legitimate path for them through which to come in? I know
Definitely.
there's countries like Thailand and Indonesia that are very, very strict
Yeah.
and they protect their industry very well.
Very much, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in this sort of unique position right now where we still want a lot more weddings. So we're willing to look the other way on certain things. We're not quite there where I think the demand and desire for weddings in Sri Lanka is outstripping the supply. In places like Indonesia and Thailand, those are very well established wedding destinations. I feel like we're not quite there yet. We're getting there, but in the process of getting there, we want to be able to not lose out as local professionals.
Yeah. I think we need to have systems in place, Keshan, to be really honest. And this is something we have to do as a collective community.
Industry, yeah, sure,
Not just one or two people or not just pioneers who've been, and people need to speak up. They need to speak up and say, hey, that's not allowed, because we do have talent here in Sri Lanka. And I'm not referring to just planners. I'm
True,
referring
yeah.
to videographers and
Makeup
photographers,
artists,
everybody
like-
across. I think people need to speak up and
Yeah.
say when it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we shouldn't give an opportunity. For example, this really talented Indian photographer and videographer that I worked with some time ago, their reach is crazy, and like the moment you're tagged on them and you get so many likes. Yes, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, it's something that can.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can.
It's definitely a benefit for us as well, but
Definitely.
it has to be sustainable.
Sustainable,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm not saying we should cut it off completely. We should, but there should be a way of getting it done. Like they need to come on a business work visa,
Exactly. So like now this new digital nomad thing is really
Yeah.
interesting because it's
Yes.
bringing in a lot more people.
Yeah.
But we don't have anything like that. I think I don't know, maybe for wedding professionals, but even for others, that is easy to access.
Yeah.
Like I know a business visa exists, and we've spoken with the tourism board, we've spoken with the ministry, and like they've confirmed, yeah, actually, you know what? If someone's coming in working, they're
They
not
have
supposed
to
to. That's
Yeah,
not
no,
legal.
that's not
a lot of
legal.
people come in and do it. But the thing is, I think the process for getting that one is it needs to be more streamlined and easier,
That's true.
and also needs to be more prevalent. It needs to be more visible. Like
Yeah.
it needs to be out there and saying, okay, we want you guys in here, but come through the proper channels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's
And
right.
like when so like now when I know when you guys bring in professionals, you tell the clients, you say, okay, when you're coming in, this is how you want them to come in. Like bring in your professionals through the proper channels. But then
Yeah.
if they choose to
Bring them
ignore
as a
that and
friend,
bring them as a
for
friend,
example,
then we
right?
can't do
Yeah.
anything about that.
No.
But
There's not
yeah,
much
that's
you could do. Yeah,
yeah.
true.
So that's kind of the issue
Exactly,
right now
yeah.
is that we can't do anything about it. So then that way our industries here are not protected.
Yeah. I mean, leave aside work, even Maldives, for example, the moment you walk in through the airport with the camera gear, they question you. Why are you taking? Do you
Exactly.
have approval for it?
Yeah.
So those are things we can do, and it doesn't have to be crazy streamlined. Our customs can question, at the airport, why are you taking this? And I know like a couple of incidents, I think when we discussed the other day as well,
Yeah.
people were saying they have been stopped, they have been questioned. It's amazing because that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
I think now people know a way of getting through someone or something, or just coming in and doing stuff. So I think more than AI, actually, we do have that challenge coming in, like where And it's sad. It's sad because we have a good talent. We have good makeup artists. We have good planners, photographers, videographers,
Yeah.
But
And
also, I think it's a matter of putting it out there as well. So I think what you're doing currently, like, channels to like showcase our vendors, that's also very important,
Yeah.
Like, I
right?
mean, like I
Other
had that
than-
discussion
yeah.
with previous
Yeah.
podcasts
I
as
think
well.
those are more things that are within our control
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
like
Like
trying
we
to
have
manage.
enough talented
We
vendors here,
have.
right? Like, I mean,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
guys can
we
could
have,
confirm.
definitely, we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
And
so-
like, I think, I think we are also responsible for that. We need to like start talking about, even if it's a smaller wedding, even if it's like, we need to like talk about these things, talk about other vendors, even if it's like a small person,
Yeah.
or whatever. We need to start talking about these people because
Yeah.
that's how people will
That's how
get
they
to
come
know.
up. Yeah.
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 And
So-
I think as planners, we have a bit of responsibility there as well to
Yeah.
sort of push those vendors.
Yeah.
So like when somebody reaches out and say, hey, like my friend is the makeup artist, we could be like, you know what, we have some really good makeup artists here. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to maybe
Yeah.
give them a try? Like, things like that. Those kind of conversations sometimes help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
gives that, because the reason that they're trying to bring them from another country is because they don't have a lot of confidence.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
they don't know.
100%.
That's a lack
yeah.
of
Yeah,
confidence.
lack of
So-
confidence. They're like, oh, do we have makeup
Yeah,
artists who use
exactly.
this product? And I'm like,
Yeah.
of
Yeah, we
course.
have all the
We-
good,
yeah.
like,
I'm so glad you said that because that's exactly what I had in mind when I thought of I Love Weddings at the start, which is, we have this collective of talented people, and the biggest, I think, misconception is that we don't have the talent.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is trust, right?
Yeah.
True.
So how do you trust in maybe like a vendor that you have no
Idea
you
of
have
or
no
not
idea of?
heard
Like, I mean, you can look at reviews, but reviews can be fake. Like, you don't know.
Yeah.
But so something like this where we are able to say as a community, together, we can vouch for these vendors. Like, you can trust them.
Sure.
So like, if they've like been on this podcast, or if they've been with us, like, we know that we know that they are representing Sri Lanka. We know that we can put our faith in them. We've worked with them.
Yeah.
There's systems to by which we can be held accountable as
Yeah.
well. So, and then you guys as planners specific, like, forget everything else. Like, you guys are there taking that responsibility and taking on that role, because when you recommend someone, you are
It's
vouching for them.
Yeah,
That is-
definitely.
yeah.
It's a huge thing, but we are doing it because we don't want our vendors not to be seen at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because I think it's very important we talk about our vendors. That's why I think I'm sure Renovation does this too. Whenever we put out a reel or work or pictures, we always
yeah.
tag our vendors because that's
Absolutely.
the way others will
Yeah,
see. And I
yeah.
know a lot
Yeah.
of people who've reached out to florists by
Yeah.
seeing our
Yeah.
stuff,
Because
know.
on the flip side, like,
Exactly.
there is this
Then
kind
they
of-
would bypass the wedding
exactly.
planner.
There's this
Yeah.
there's this line of
Yeah.
thinking. Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But-
okay. Honestly, for me, I honestly, I mean, a reason I think I also started maybe a different topic completely. Women Behind the Vows were honestly with that open mind of, giving everybody a chance. Who cares? If somebody's getting that business, it's important because at the end of the day, it's the country that's going to be seen.
Yeah.
But it's okay for me, even if I tag, and some people even reach out to me and asking their contacts, and I'm like, go ahead, please contact them,
Yeah.
But yeah, but also Gishan, we also have this other side of it, right? Like we discuss about these new wedding planners, new people coming into the industry, and I'm sure other people will also agree with this. Some of them have created and have screwed up in correct words on certain things that this word goes out and they think these is what Sri Lanka is. I've had couples complain and say some of the wedding planners, how they've cheated or how they've,
absolutely.
charged a certain amount or on or
And not delivered or something.
not
yeah.
delivered or charge like false
Yeah.
amounts or on top of it add commission and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, so I mean, I have got some weddings where they have cancelled a wedding plan and come back to me, or cancelled on a florist and gone to another florist because they've had this mistrust happening, and they're like, and then they question nuance. They're like, oh, are you telling me the truth? Or, then, and then you're in that position like, shit, now this person is not
Yeah.
trusting me, but I
Yeah.
also want to develop this relationship
True.
with you. because that's how I work. I get connected emotionally because it's your wedding day,
Yeah.
right? But they also build this wall around you because they've already, someone has cheated on them. So that happens too, where we can't blame them really
Yeah,
when
that's
they
true.
don't trust all vendors, because then we have to put a lot of effort to make sure,
Rebuild that trust, right?
and then to make sure they also trust the other vendors, because in their mind they're like, oh, someone's cheating me down the line.
Now they're just questioning everything.
Everything.
So
Yeah.
and like that word of mouth also matters, right? Like,
Yeah.
they might go like, our wedding planning experience in Sri Lanka was horrible. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not the kind
That's
of
the thing. Yeah, we don't.
experience we want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people
that's
to be
not
talking about.
representative of
Yeah.
what the average is.
Yeah,
Yes.
because what I've realized, when they check for Sri Lankan wedding planners, they type Sri Lankan wedding planners, and
Yeah, they go with the cheapest option.
also
Probably.
the names that top on first are like, it says Sri Lankan wedding planner. So they think, okay, these are the ones who are good, but they don't realize maybe they don't have experience, or
Yeah.
so that happens as well.
I think one of the ways, hopefully, that we can sort of get past that and improve on that is we have a community that says, okay, we are a group of trusted professionals, and then if something happens, we will find a way to we can be held accountable,
Yeah.
and we have a record and a history of delivering. So I think that level of trust and saying, we have like a badge of honor or something, or like a way to communicate that to the client. Like, it's not just a loose bunch of industry professionals, but like if we're part of a certain group and say, like, what, this, if you're in this, if you're part of this, you're recognized as a trusted vendor and you can be relied on. I think that will probably help as well.
Yeah,
Like, that will go a long
definitely,
way.
for sure.
Because I think when you look at other countries, they have those groups, they have those industries. They have those communities. So like, when associations get formed, like we talked about, some of the ones that are out there, they're not very representative of us.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of come together and have our own.
I don't know what kind of
sort group
conversation
and
you all had
collective.
about this association.
We had a lot of interesting conversations. Yeah.
I have thoughts as well, maybe.
Yeah. But interesting question that I had for you guys. So when you're talking about like how couples are coming in and finding different vendors, how are they finding you guys in general? Like, are you experiencing more people coming in through like searching on Google? Are they using AI, which uses Google and other search engines, or are they coming on social media, like and word of mouth? Like, what is your experience?
Word of mouth and
same. I was
social
gonna say
media
same
for
thing,
me. Yeah,
word of mouth
yeah.
and social media, and a little bit of SEO from my side as well.
Okay.
The website is getting me some consultations.
Yeah.
So are you seeing the SEO side of things? Is that as important as it was before? Or I feel like some people are saying it's less.
Less important?
Yeah, than it was before. Like, if you go like 5, 6, 7 years ago, SEO was the big thing,
Big
right?
thing,
Like,
because
you had
that was
to
the only
have-
thing available
Yeah,
for
true.
entrepreneur to promote our business. But now there are different platforms, I feel like.
Mm.
I think it is still important because there are still people who still search for your website,
Yeah.
check whether I think this is something Ruben told me back then when we were like starting. He's like, it's okay. Just have a basic website.
Yeah.
It's very important.
It doesn't have to be beautiful. It just has to have the
Basic.
right words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right words, because people still do Google
That's
you.
true.
Yeah.
They
That's
do,
true.
But like I said, I think back then that was the only platform which we had, and
Yeah.
like a lot of people
Yeah.
were. But
Sometimes
now,
I'm surprised, like, and how couples find me. Like, there was someone who said, hey, I saw your reels on TikTok. I was like, what? I don't even use that. But then I realized I'm cross-posting. Like, if I
Yeah.
post a
Yeah.
reel on Instagram, it just gets automatically
automatic,
shared.
yeah.
Then I was like, okay,
Yeah.
wow. Brides use Pinterest a lot as a reference point.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that doesn't seem to be a source of leads. Like, they'll use it for reference, but it's not like they look at it and say, hey, this person is on Pinterest, I found them.
No.
Because like, as photographers, like, let's say we put stuff on Pinterest and we put a whole bunch, So they'll come and pin stuff and take that, but they won't say, "Oh, I
No.
found this photographer for Pinterest."
Yeah.
Like that doesn't seem
No.
to be
No.
um,
And that I think
useful,
Pinterest
like-
was created for that reason. For
it
that,
was created for that
it
reason.
was.
Yeah.
You know, but somehow it does link some people to my website.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
great.
amazing.
Yes, I've got a couple like consultations after like they looked at Pinterest and they were like,
That's good.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good.
Good. So that means it's not dying yet.
Yeah,
I think we
it's
just don't know how
serving
to
a
do it.
purpose.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we just don't know how
I'm
to.
still clueless.
I-
Like, I'm like
exactly.
looking at it like where's where does this go? Where like am I on my profile page? Am I on the
On
main
the homepage,
On
yeah.
the
Where do
homepage,
we
like
go
I have
and
no idea.
find
Like,
this
Like,
board?
how does this
yeah,
work?
it is weird. It is
Figuring
weird.
it out,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
and it seems like weddings are so performative now.
Yeah.
It's literally a performance. It's choreographed. It's planned to the T. And they're like, okay, I mean, you guys are evidence. You're saying they're bringing you in, so you're probably involved at every stage of this. It sounds very tedious. More like an appreciation for how hard you guys have to work. But
Thank you.
but with all this added stuff there is, it's not organic. Like it doesn't feel like there's like a flow to it. I mean, before like you plan it and then you let things happen, but if everything is choreographed and staged every step of the way with these trends and things coming in, like that just sounds like it's it just sounds very unnatural to me.
It is sometimes, yeah, and then you feel it. I think those are the weddings you feel really drained.
Yeah.
Like
They look good on
They do.
on camera.
And
They
there'll
look-
be a
do.
lot of TikToks and
Yeah.
reels to show for
yeah.
it.
So it's
Yeah.
like all for content. It's not
Yeah.
for your
no,
celebration
There are
of your
couples-
marriage.
no,
There are couples like that, but there are also couples that just want to keep it very,
very low.
It's
They'll do
very-
whatever they
yeah,
want,
you know,
and
they would
those are
prefer
the
the
weddings you really
experience.
enjoy.
Yeah.
True.
Because those are the weddings we are used to, like
Because you see the meaning, you see the
Yeah.
love, the connection, like the
Yeah.
family, all of
Yeah.
that.
That's
right?
amazing.
So,
yeah,
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad. Yeah, we still have those as well. And that
No,
you
absolutely.
guys
yeah.
still
Yeah,
see
yeah,
those
yeah.
happening.
yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I try to discourage most of the wedding trends they see on TikTok, and I too tell them, and I think I have a meeting with the videographer and photographer, and I address them before
Yeah.
the day because we need to know your feedback as well,
Sure.
like
Yeah.
the videographer and photographer. And most of the cases, the ones that I work with have given honest feedback and said, it's gonna look weird because it's not natural, because
Yeah.
we have to get them out of their element just to record
to
this, because
record
then
it,
you're gonna
yeah.
break the flow.
then-
exactly. Yes.
So that stuff on the photography and videography side, but
Yeah.
I'm guessing people will also come to you with a certain setup or something that they've seen that may not really make sense and say, oh, can we do this here? Can we try this here? Like, something new.
Yeah.
That's something
Yeah.
like maybe it's something that's outdoors that may not work inside a hotel.
Yeah.
Like it could be anything. Like
Yeah,
they'll come to you with all sorts of
it
things.
can actually, for
and
sure.
then the budget they might not have the budget, but they would
Exactly.
want
But
that
they want to do
Yeah.
that.
look
Yeah.
and feel. Like,
Yeah.
that's the hardest for me to
Yeah, it is.
like,
It's really
to try
tough.
and
Yeah,
explain to them.
definitely.
Is it better when couples come in and say, hey, I want to plan my wedding and this is my budget? Or when they come in and just say, this is kind of what I want to do. And when you say, do you have a budget? They're like, I don't know. Because one answer I've heard is, you know what? I've never planned a wedding before. This is my first wedding and
I don't know
hopefully
what the
only
budget
wedding.
looks
Yeah.
like.
I don't know what the
Yeah,
budget is. So
of
you
course.
get both of those.
Yeah.
So is it, I mean, I'm guessing if someone comes in and says they have a budget, that's better.
Better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Always.
First consultation, that's one of the questions I always ask.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys have a budget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there are so many expectations, and like when you don't have the budget for
Yeah.
it, like it's very difficult to deliver,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is one of the questions I always ask. And if they say, okay, it's my first time, I don't know what the budget looks like, then I would give them an indication of
Yeah.
what a budget would look like. For example, if it's 100 packs wedding, right?
Okay.
I would tell them, okay, your starting point is it this?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with
Yeah.
this? It's
Yeah.
very important to have
Same,
that
same. I do the same because even if they have a budget, I ask them to send it. Then we divide it in different elements,
Yeah.
and then we work on it. It has to be a flexible budget, to be really honest. And we do have vendors that cater to different
True.
levels of that budget, like
Yeah.
like very high end florists to mid range.
Yeah.
You know those people. So then we discuss about a budget. But it is easy when someone does come
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
budget, because
Yeah,
then we
absolutely.
know
But
who
that's
to
probably
recommend.
rare, I'm guessing.
Not
Or they
really
Yeah.
for
have an
me.
idea when they come
No,
in.
no. I think
That's
a
good.
lot of
I
people,
think even the most like the people with like luxury weddings, they still come with like, okay, what are we looking at? Like
Yeah.
3 days, what are we
Yeah,
looking
they
at?
do have a budget in
So
mind. They do. They know what
it's
they want.
definitely good
Yeah.
to give them an
You
indication.
do get those rare cases come and say, I don't have a budget. And when you do give a budget, they're like, oh, it's a bit expensive. We do have them.
Yeah.
But a lot of cases, people do have a budget in mind.
Right.
Yes, they don't know exactly how much it is. And that's where we can guide them saying a florist will cost you this much for 3 days.
Exactly. Yeah.
A photographer. So that way they're like, oh, right. Okay, I didn't know it was this expensive. But they also adjust their budget accordingly. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, then with your help, they can manage the expectations.
Exactly. Yeah.
I wanted to ask, do you guys do Indian weddings? If you do, or if you don't do them, why not?
You don't do Indian weddings?
I think I had this conversation
Oh,
with you.
okay.
I mean, I do. I do have Indian weddings, but I'm very limited. I think I told you this. We have so many people doing Indian weddings and they're amazing at what they do. I don't want to do that because I think I've like had really bad experience with people who get quotes and get me to work and then they're like, oh no, it's okay. We're not coming to Sri Lanka sometimes, you know. And I worked so much for that wedding just to send them a proposal. And I've had really nice Indians as well, like coming from Kenya or Dubai, and they're amazing to work with. I scrutinize the person a lot before I take an Indian wedding.
Because it's also your emotion, like you'll be dealing with them for a year.
Yeah, and I
sometimes
don't want to
more,
deal with
so-
someone who gives me attitude, who's
that's
trying to
true.
cost every corner. I don't
Yeah.
want that.
Yeah.
I think I told you this.
No, because that is a challenge that we are going to face as an industry. Like as much as we do want Indian weddings and we like having Sri Lanka be a more popular wedding destination. Overall, I think the majority of us professionals in Sri Lanka don't know how to handle them.
Yeah.
So I think learning that is also useful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
In whatever you want to do. Like even if you say like you said you want to scrutinize and be selective, that's excellent. Like because knowing that gives you, I think, the knowledge to make a judgment and say, is this a right fit for me
Exactly.
or not?
That's very important.
That is so important. Because at the end of the day, for me, this is not just a job. It is, at the end of the day, something that I invest emotionally. So I have to have some sort of satisfaction, not just financially, but also that connection that I've made. So I've realized that I don't have to do Indian weddings. For me to grow as a business person or for my wedding business to grow, I don't have to do Indian weddings. And I think I had this conversation with you and Hamna as well.
Yeah.
I think Sri Lanka, amazing to have Indian weddings. It's beautiful. I think at some point, we also need to look at the rest of the world. Recently, I had a wedding in March, just when the war started, right? And they were meant to have 12 people at their wedding. And unfortunately, only 4 were there. This was including the couple. So the couple and just 2 more guests because no one was able to travel to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So I thought they're going to cancel everything, but they're like, no, we're going ahead with it. When they said they were going ahead, they still had the photographer, the videographer fully booked. They still got the florist to come. We had to adapt to making it a smaller thing, but we decorated. But you know what was beautiful? They still had the Sri Lankan drummers and fire dancers coming in, even just for those 4 people. And it was just beautiful for them to, for us to watch them enjoying it, and then they were like, wow, for us, we're so used to the fire dancer coming and doing somersaults. They're like, wow, those are the things that makes it, I think, what Sri Lanka is. We need to put out there, this is what Sri Lanka is, this is what we have. But yeah, that's just my thing. And like I said, there are planners who do beautiful Indian weddings and I really respect them. And I think there should be a segment that will do Indian weddings because it is important for the country, our economy and stuff like that. It's just not my thing. Yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, I think that's great that you identify that your this is what your preference is, this is what you want to do. And like you said, there are people who specialize in that and they want to do that.
Yeah.
In particular. Like they want to do Indian weddings.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
Yeah.
So we have something for everyone here in
Yeah.
Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
like, in
exactly.
that way.
Exactly. And I don't honestly, if people think like, oh, I have competition, I don't. I'm really happy that it has to be distributed well, though. I must say that it has to be, because I don't think like a certain planner has to do just Indian weddings, because I feel like they
Everyone can handle it. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and we
I think
have
we're all,
like
yeah, like all of the planners are capable of it. Like we
very
have
much,
amazing.
very much, and I think we
Yeah.
need to also give them that platform to talk about it as well,
Yeah.
because I know Renosha or Suranga or
Yeah,
whoever, they
yeah.
handle some amazing weddings, and
Yeah.
I think it's important that they get that recognition as well at the end of the day, because it is an Indian wedding, it is a big deal. It's not just one day, it's a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things they're dealing with,
Yeah.
the different vendors, different
Yeah,
styles.
lots of
So
moving parts, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. I think it's
Definitely.
important that we give them this platform as well. So yeah.
But also, just to add to what Sabrina said, I do Indian weddings. I think over the years I've kind of like understood that, like, having those boundaries again with them,
Really help,
informed
I think
boundaries.
especially with them.
It's
like,
very,
Yeah.
very
and I think they
important.
like that.
Exactly.
They
They do.
respect it
Yeah.
when
Yeah, they
you
do.
are
For
firm
Yeah.
and
example,
you.
that's
Yeah,
true.
they
So
do.
on my contract, I say my working hours, right? And
Yeah.
then I add, like, at the consultation, I like sprinkle it out there. So it's very important to sort of,
Indeed.
have those boundaries in place. That way they also know, okay, now I'm crossing a boundary,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's made me, like, enjoy, actually. Like, the last Indian wedding I did, I actually enjoyed it very much. Like,
Yeah.
because you don't know, like, it's like she said, like, it's a lot of moving parts. It's like a hospitality desk, like,
Yeah. They
running a
request for
salon.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something happening for each
Yeah.
element of the
Yeah.
wedding, right?
Yeah.
So currently at this stage in business, I do enjoy doing that, but I don't know if I'll get to
Yeah.
the point Sabrina is at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what I really enjoy now? The diaspora market. It is
Yeah, me too.
just, it's just,
It's popping off. I think it's
Yeah,
like there's
and
a lot of
also-
people
You
coming
and
down.
she's done some beautiful
and no
beautiful
more than that, like
Hindu
the
weddings.
stories they have, and you're like, I'm like this onion. I'll cry for anything. If someone's crying, I'm there, I'm crying. And like my team's like, oh my God, she's doing
She's
it
crying
again.
again.
Yeah, this Kilinochi wedding that I
I'm
did.
gonna remember to turn my camera
Oh,
towards
please
you.
don't. Please don't. Please don't. I ugly
While the
cry.
ceremony is going on, huh?
But it's just
No,
no. I want that in there. That's so genuine. It's so authentic.
no, but
Look at your planner. Sorry.
no, right. So yeah, like this Kilinochi wedding, they were not even born in Sri Lanka. They're not
Yeah.
like, because their parents are Sri Lankans. They were born
Mm.
in Switzerland. It's just beautiful why they
Yeah.
wanted to come back to Sri Lanka and get married there, because they have roots. And it was a different Hindu wedding. And I was like, when the bride was walking in, you don't see that in Hindu weddings. So when the bride was walking in, she was with tears. And he was in tears, like,
Those are
you
the best
don't
kind of weddings.
get that.
Yeah,
you don't get
because
that.
we're usually kind of told to be very reserved and hold back the emotion.
And they kissed on the mandap. They kissed, they
Oh,
literally
wow.
kissed, and you're like, what?
Clap.
Really?
Love
And I'm
that.
like,
Love
yeah,
that.
and I was just in tears. It was just real. And you know what? No one was judging them. Everybody was cheering them, and they're like, the diaspora market. It is just
Yeah.
beautiful. I really enjoyed that a
Yeah.
lot, because I feel like that's what Sri Lanka is missing.
That's yeah.
Because
definitely.
we need that emotional part back in the wedding game,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
people
true.
actually enjoy. You see them drunk, you see them dancing, and it's not like a social media trend that's going on. And people, like, sometimes brides are so concerned to have their makeup and hair until they're going away.
Yeah.
What
This is what I mean. Like, I mean, this is kind of I'm going back into talking about the whole performative thing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't like we're too focused on things being perfect instead of
Perfect.
just being able to enjoy them.
No, it's your wedding day. You're not gonna get it again.
Yeah.
Please, like, be drunk or like
Yeah, enjoy. If it
enjoy.
rains, go dance in the rain.
Yeah,
That
exactly,
kind of thing, right?
exactly.
So,
No, I mean, I think there is something to be said. Like you made such a good point talking about diaspora weddings. There's this whole sort of, I want to say, rediscovery, but also discovery for the first time of Sri Lanka, your culture and your roots for couples who are living abroad. I'm seeing so much of that right now,
Yeah.
and I can't get enough of it. Like, I have one wedding coming up with a couple. I think their family home or their ancestral home is just a little bit outside Jaffna. I think Dinu might be with me on
Okay.
that. and I'm like so looking forward to
Yeah,
telling
it's-
that story
yeah.
because they're coming back home and their grandmother's going to be there. She can't travel, so she's going to be a part of it, and we're going to see how they interact with all these relatives that they haven't seen in
Yeah.
a while,
exactly.
and what it's like for them being back in Sri Lanka.
Exactly. And some of them left during a very bad time in Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
So for them to
Yeah,
come
come
back and
back.
see all this is like emotional
beautiful,
for them
yeah.
as well. And
Yeah.
like, so yeah, I think there is a good market out there and we should get them. And there's a story to say, talk about as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think like couples are also becoming a lot more intentional. Like for example, they wouldn't just do a ritual just because, like you
Yeah.
said, like they kissed on the mandap. Like
Yeah.
they're becoming like they want to know why. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yes,
thing?
yes,
Yeah.
I
You know,
love those.
like I
Yeah.
love
Like
those kind of questions.
when they
Exactly.
have someone
Yeah.
explaining it, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is what we're
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah.
This is why we're doing
They
it.
find a
Yeah.
lot of meaning
Um,
in
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
love that. Like, I mean, as photographers, we've done so many, but
You don't
we,
know.
we
Yeah.
still, there are some things that we don't know.
Exactly.
Like, we
True.
know most of it, and also to hear it being explained so beautifully
Exactly.
makes such a difference when we're capturing it as well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
they're going around the fire is sending up a signal to the gods,
Gods,
that they're married. Like,
exactly.
it's just
Yeah.
so good.
It gives a
Yeah.
lot of meaning to
Yeah.
the performance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
That's I guess that's where you stay out of that performative sort of
Yeah.
like wedding
Yeah.
planning.
I
Like
mean,
it
that's
gives more meaning,
exactly. And I mean,
intention.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for me in particular, I mean, I'm very
Yeah.
much focused on documentary, and
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't like doing the stage stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I will do that, but
Yeah.
as authentic and as real as it can be, that is how I prefer
Yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. And I think we need to focus on that a bit more. I think as an industry, we have to, because I'm not saying that our industry will die, it'll never die. We will still have weddings, but sometimes, you're like, am I doing this for the sake of doing it, sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Because that happens after some time. And I'm sure I'm not mentioning names, they'll kill me, but some of the photographers I've spoken to, they're like, Sabi, I'm doing the same shot, same wedding, same location. Where is my creativity coming from? And I feel the same sometimes.
Yeah.
Same venue, you know where the poro will be, you know where the head table will be, you know where, and that part really kills our creativity sometimes. And you're like, no, I need to stop.
I mean, the way I see it, that can only come from the connection that we have with the couple,
Yeah.
and how much we're invested in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
and their story,
Yeah,
the couple's
exactly.
story, because that's going to be different each
Yeah.
time.
Exactly. So I think we have to invest in that. As a wedding industry, talk about those
Yeah.
weddings as well.
Let's see more of that. Less
Yeah.
trends.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, please.
Let's
Yeah,
see real, authentic
with
stories.
trends. Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
true.
seriously,
That's so
done with
true.
trends.
Good.
Gosh,
Perfect.
yeah.
I'm not going to be doing any trends on
No
like my
trends.
reels.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to,
I mean,
but
it's
I'm
a
not.
balance.
No,
Yeah.
right?
this
It's a
recent
balance.
post you did about your photos, or like the post you did about capturing like this photo that really struck me. And I'm not holy, but Mother Mary was behind, the statue was behind. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, that
like
was so beautiful. I mean,
yeah, it was just like
yeah.
the captions that you put on each photo. Like
Yeah.
that's not
No,
something you copied from someone, obviously. Like that was quite
Sure.
genuine. Yes.
In that moment, I could really like feel it. I could feel like, I mean, the emotion that
Yeah.
was there, and that wasn't it. I didn't show you the rest of the pictures. There's
Okay.
one where her uncle comes in and she has like tears streaming down her face, like the whole
Aw.
family. It was such an unbelievable
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, it is.
Like, and that's like such a real authentic moment.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
I
it
want to see
is.
that, more of things like that from everyone,
Yeah.
instead of like trends, like following other people. Like, do your own thing.
Exactly. I did this wedding like beginning of the year. I did her sister's wedding as well. But like, yes, this has been done. But to see it happening for not just first time, second time as well, where they use their grandparents as the ring bearers.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that was so cute. Yeah, I saw
So
the video.
I
cute.
haven't
I
seen
mean,
that.
I have
So
seen
cute.
that on reels and stuff,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
know they didn't do it for a trend.
Yeah.
Because they're genuinely very close to
Right.
their grandparents. And
Yeah.
she got her grandmother to come and adjust her veil and stuff, like, because she wanted that moment with the grandmother, because that connection was just really beautiful, and that family is just really beautiful. Like, you feel the emotions and stuff like that. So to experience a wedding like that, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just, yeah, I think for me,
And
like I've always
It
told
gives us
Asha,
more meaning as well to
and
what
I
we do,
come home
right? Yeah.
happy. Like
Yeah,
sometimes
true.
it's not just like them sending a thank you message. Even
I
I'm like,
know, yeah, it's
yeah,
true.
See,
you were
feel
emotionally
satisfied.
invested in
Yes,
You
that.
you feel
are.
satisfied.
And
You
when, like, I mean, you talked about like in the weddings, and I mean, even in other weddings where I think I have seen before. I think before we used to be a lot more reserved, a lot less reserved now, which I think is great. Like
Yeah.
we're displaying emotion, we're doing it
Yeah.
more openly, and you know,
You should.
It's cool to show emotion.
Yeah, it is. It is.
yeah, exactly. I wanted to talk to you guys about work-life balance as well. I'm gonna start with you, Renosha.
Okay.
So I remember when you were working
Yes.
full time, you were like, you know, you were planning weddings on the side, and you were kind of just starting. And I mean, first, I didn't know how you managed both of those at the same time because like you're probably working every single day of the week. Tell me, how scary is it when you go from the point where you're saying, okay, I'm gonna stop my 9 to 5 and then make the transition and take this on full time? Like, do you have any advice you can give?
I mean, that's honestly one of the bravest things I've done, like quitting 9 to 5, right? Because that monthly paycheck, that financial commitments, that meant a lot, and it did like so. I only quit my 9 to 5 about 4 years ago. It just got to a point where I was just so unhappy at work, right? Like I had checked out emotionally, but I didn't know what my next step should be. Should it be like another job, like another corporate job? And I knew like wedding planning for me has always been that, a passion project kind of a thing, right? I never thought I'd go into it full time because then I knew that my choice, I wouldn't be able to choose good projects only. Like I'll have to do whatever
Yeah,
that comes,
yeah,
right? Because because you don't have another income coming in.
Yeah.
So that took a lot. And
I knew Renosha back then as well. I'm just saying.
yes,
And she was,
actually, but it like I needed that push from my partner. I think he was the one who pushed me to it, and he was like, you know what, like you're only gonna regret the chances you don't take in life. So, like he's a motivational speaker, right?
Yeah.
Like,
He's-
I'm gonna
he's-
do it.
I
You
know
are
him.
amazing.
I know him, so I know he's tapping particularly into like kind of like Kobe Bryant, like basketball. Like you miss all the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
exactly,
So
yeah.
like that stays true to me. Like even coming here, right? This is like me facing a fear.
Oh
'Cause
wow! I didn't know it was so scary.
No, like public
Facing you is
speaking, facing a camera. That's really not my like. I'm an introvert. Like I could say that.
I think I am too.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
you're
I'm
not.
too.
Oh, good.
No,
we're all introverts. here.
Sabrina
I
is
am.
not an introvert.
That's what everybody keeps saying, but I am.
I know
I'm
people
big
keep
word.
telling me. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's not an introvert.
Okay.
Anyway.
Alright.
Ambivert.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that?
Ambiverts, exactly.
That's
So
like
it's a mix
of
of
both.
so you could
Okay.
like,
Oh,
your
right.
energy
Okay. Yeah.
flows
Yeah.
across.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit of that as well. But
Okay.
so like so like you
So
know
if like someone was in your like the same position you were in back then, what would you tell them?
okay, you definitely need to have savings to manage for about 6 months to a year, right?
Okay, makes sense.
These were like things that
That's
I
how
was
you-
told. Exactly.
yeah.
This is what exactly I did. So 6 months to a year, if you have financial commitments, that is, you need to be able to pay for yourself if you don't
Right.
like get the business. Because you put a social media post out there, a few
business,
TikToks, you're just not gonna start getting business. Build trust with these clients, right?
Yeah.
So, and so that's number one. You need to have those savings backing you up. Then, like, put yourself out there. Like that was the other hard
That's
thing
the
that I
hardest
had
thing.
to do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like making those videos initially at the initial stage was just it was like
I was gonna ask you about that. You already
Yeah.
started talking about that, so that's great. Like, I mean, I saw what you're doing, and I think I was definitely inspired by that
Yeah.
as well. you know?
Yeah.
that was difficult.
And they were not cringe.
Like,
They were
I
actually
look at it
good.
and
They
I
were
cringe.
they were so informative, and I was thinking,
But
Well,
I look
well-
at it and cringe
It,
though, you
it
guys.
takes a lot to do
That's the
that.
thing.
so
That's
you,
the
And
thing.
like-
you always think it's cringe when you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
this.
Yeah.
obviously. But
Yeah.
like It wasn't. It was really good. So
I only
hats-
have one
hats off.
complaint.
What is the complaint?
We're not seeing enough of those.
I know, like a lot of people when I meet them, like vendors, they say like, "Where are your videos?" Like we actually like
Very
them.
reels. You want to
Yes.
see more.
I know.
Yeah.
I need to do that now, but thankfully now I am in a situation where I don't have to make a lot of those videos. There are like naturally leads coming in
Yeah.
like, from the other sales.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
of
so-
course, of course.
Yeah.
Word
Yeah.
of mouth
But,
helps,
like-
and then yeah,
Definitely.
So on a similar note, like I mean, for both of you guys, like, do you like the reality of running a business now? Do you feel overwhelmed when you have to kind of be like this social media personality and do all of that as well as
yeah.
do your actual job?
Oh my
Yes.
God, yes.
It's an added
Yeah.
layer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
To like,
it is.
it's not your actual job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels like another job.
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's also sort of important that you
That's
do that
true.
as well, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what's going to get you
Yeah.
business.
I gotta say I miss the days of SEO because
Oh
like
my
my
God,
website does all the
yes.
work.
You do it behind the
yeah,
scenes. Yeah, that's true.
You pay
That is
someone and
true.
get it done
Yeah.
for you. You
Now
know?
you have to be
You
the
have to
scene.
be the-
Yeah, you have to.
definitely.
And my team keeps sending me all these trends, and they're like, "You have to do it. You have." I'm like, "No, that's never gonna
No,
happen."
not doing
No,
I
trends.
know,
no.
even my team is like, you're not making enough videos. I'm like, how about how about you do the video?
Yeah, I'll just say
Actually, yeah, put them in front of the camera.
Yeah.
It's like,
think I should do that.
please.
Give
I
everyone
should
a
do
turn.
that.
Yeah, everybody's just ready with a phone, like, we'll capture you. I'm like, no.
But coming back to your question, work-life balance does not exist. Like,
Sorry, guys.
I'm so sorry. If you're running your own business, at least the current stage I'm in
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment, that does not exist
Yeah.
for me. That's why I really enjoy like taking a couple of days off, like, you know, especially when there's a
Yeah.
holiday season.
And like,
Like,
no phones, nothing,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
a full
Throw it-
digital
throw it away.
detox.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Like I now enjoy it a lot more, like going out and just like taking a break for yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes during like peak seasons, it can lead to burnout, right? And
Yes.
Yeah.
that's
Oh my God.
something that we don't
Yeah.
speak about often.
Yeah.
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 For me in particular, I don't know, maybe other like videographers and photographers can relate. The screen in particular, because I'm behind the screen on the camera as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of eye strain.
Yeah.
And then we're in front of the computer. You actually get really bad headaches.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure for you guys, you have just the fatigue that sets in because you're
just exhausted.
on
like
for so long.
sometimes.
Like you have to
Yeah.
be like literally switched on.
Switch
Yeah.
on
And
the whole
plugged
time.
in.
Whole time.
And like when you're at an event, you're like solving problems, like things that sometimes you don't plan for, right? Like no matter how good of a
Yeah.
planner you are, like
It
on the
always
day-
comes up.
I think
yeah.
like
something
we
comes
all need our own individual therapist just specific to wedding stuff.
Weddings, yeah,
Not
exactly.
even other personal stuff, wedding stuff.
It's an amazing business
Definitely.
idea for a therapist right now. Someone should come up and say, "Here, I'm
Wedding
here for the
therapist.
wedding." Yeah,
Focus on
wedding
wedding
vendors.
industry.
That's it.
You guys heard it here. We want in on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sabrina, I wanted to ask you about being a parent and running your business. Like, I mean, you seem like a superwoman. And I also know now that the only way I can get a hold of you is if I reach you like
Message you.
after like 9 or
Yeah.
10 p.m.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, you've kind of managed everything for the
Yeah. Say, and
So
the kids are
how do
sleeping
you
usually.
balance like work and personal life?
It's tough. It's really tough. I think with experience, you learn how to. You just learn how to. Like, for example, what time do you schedule your calls and stuff like that? You know when the kids are like sleeping or when they are
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah.
So it's really tough,
But
Kishan.
that's always not possible because I mean,
Some
people
clients
clients
don't
keep
have
calling
that
you
And
and
also, they're
Yeah.
kids as well, right?
Yeah.
They're not like adults. You can tell them to shush and wait. Or you can give them something that they can munch on. They're like always, "Mama, can I come near you?" Or, "Mama, that." But they're also very good kids, I must say, because I think they've also now, Rafi was born during COVID, right? And then I have taken him everywhere. Like back
yeah,
then
you
it
were
was.
saying, yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of used to it and all of that. But Yari is not so much. So she's the clingy one right now. But you learn and it's tough. You need to like balance it in a way. And I think just like because I'm a wedding planner, I sort of plan myself for the day as well, how
Yeah.
it's gonna be. And I like my schedule and everything I plan ahead,
Yeah.
like my meetings and everything. If it comes like where a sudden call comes in, I have to decline and I say, I'll have to take it at this time. Let me know.
But is it like is it even more challenging? Like, I mean, like Ashan's hours are also not the most predictable, right?
Yeah.
Because he's also dealing with a
Yeah.
similar industry.
Yeah.
So it's not like you have
And he's
this
also
and
away
he's 9 to 5.
sometimes.
Yeah,
And he's
exactly.
also away sometimes from the house. It is challenging. It is definitely very challenging. I think, like I said, what's important is I plan myself ahead, Geshan. Like, I know what days I can have meetings, what days I can actually, concentrate on
Yeah.
doing weddings. And weddings, we know our schedule, how it's going to be. I know if I have a wedding next week, these are the days I'm going to be busy.
Yeah.
So then you need to manage that home front situation and plan ahead. What are we going to do with the kids who's coming to look after them? So being a parent, it is quite tough. I know Renosha said there is no work-life balance. Trust me, it gets better. But I suppose once you're a parent, there is work-life balance because
you have to balance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have no
Yeah.
choice.
You have no
You
choice,
have
yeah.
to balance it. You have to be there for your kids because for me, for me, I need to be their present parent. I need to be present in their lives. I need to make sure I attend their sports meet or, their exhibition and all of that. So I think in a way, the system is such that they also inform us prior, working parents prior when the events are going to be, and
Yeah.
then I can schedule my meetings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is work-life balance, but I think you need to put in a lot of effort to make sure that works for you. It's not hard, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
I think one of the things that, like, when we had that gathering the other day
Yeah.
as well, I noticed is one of the hardest things that we, I think, particularly have as Sri Lankans
Yeah.
is setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we are so accommodating.
Yeah.
We always want to be so
we don't
nice
know
and
how to say
helpful.
no.
Yeah,
We don't know
we
how to say
never-
no. Exactly.
Ingrained in us.
Exactly.
We don't know how
Yeah.
to say no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, no matter
I
how
think
many
we got to
times
get
that-
over that, right?
Yeah, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
to. We need to. Like I said, now I don't do calls on Sundays. I'm like, this is my time with
great.
my
Definitely,
family.
yeah. Same.
Unless it's a wedding
Urgent,
season.
right, yeah.
Then I
And then
understand.
obviously if it's their
Yeah.
wedding coming up, that's
Exactly. Then it's
different.
understandable. But please give me that respect because I say this is my time with my family, and it's important for me to be there with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it's tough. It's on one-on-one case as well. But yeah,
It's also, I mean, the reason that, I want to have these conversations constantly or more frequently
yeah,
is because, one is we don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think a similar thing is things like pricing and when people kind of undercut and bring themselves down.
yeah,
When we collectively, bring ourselves up whether it's pricing or whether it's being firm with boundaries, when everyone does it, then that expectation
is
gets
there.
shifted,
Yeah,
right, across
exactly,
the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that perception of Sri Lanka, okay, I'm dealing with vendors who are very professional, they have their boundaries and, they have their times
Yeah.
and when, they can deal with us,
Yeah.
that is respected.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
if we're not adhering to that and if we're just available 24/7 anytime, we're bottoming it out or pricing,
Sure.
then that's
Exactly.
what gets expected.
Exactly. I know some vendors switch their phones off after 5:30, and that's up to them. And it's really good because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they need to have peace of mind. They need to
Yeah.
go back to their homes, perform their duties as a mother or a wife or whatever it is they want to do, or go out for a drink sometimes. It's important.
Yeah.
Not just as women, I think even as men or like in general, it has to be the
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about mental health as well
Yeah.
for us as wedding professionals
Yeah.
in the industry.
Yeah.
I think probably the least talked about thing.
Definitely.
Like we
I don't
don't-
think anyone.
Yeah.
Because I think we take on not just like the couple's
Yeah.
emotional, sometimes it's the family
family,
expectations,
There are like,
little
issue-
disputes sometimes, and then they would ask us to communicate with this person. They'll be like, we are caught in between sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
and sometimes, no matter what we do, there are people who won't appreciate you.
Yeah.
There are. I mean, we need to be open about it and like talk about it. There are. And then that really drains you
Yeah.
because we are not gods. We have emotions.
I
We
think
are people.
we need to remind ourselves that that's not
Yeah.
us. That's
Yeah.
something that was put on us, right? Like
Exactly. Yeah. And then sometimes, people don't appreciate you no matter what you do. And you're like, and that really drains you sometimes. They're like,
Mhm.
haven't you had those moments like you think, oh, you've done this beautiful wedding, you captured nicely, and then you send it to people, and
That
you're like,
one small thing.
yeah,
that
and then they would
didn't-
complain, or they'll not say, or not even comment
Not even
some.
say anything.
Yeah, and you're like, hello,
you put
like
so
I
much
just
into this.
sent you like a beautiful album of photos,
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you put in your heart
Yeah.
and soul, and then there is like
Yeah.
people who just look at one thing and then complain, and you're like, what just happened, so yeah, we don't have an outlet.
Yeah,
We don't have
an
a
outlet.
we don't have a space. I think
even on the day though, like, I
Yeah.
mean, the only thing I can think of is like now when you guys are there, like we should be sharing it with our team as well.
Yeah.
I know, like, I mean, we have great teams. They will sort of be there in times of need for us.
Yeah.
I think definitely I don't share enough in that. Like, I don't share enough of, oh, this is what's happening, this is what's wrong, and this is stressing me out. And I know if I do that more often, they will come
Yeah.
and jump in and
yeah,
help
definitely.
help that.
Yeah,
So like,
definitely.
that's on the day. So that's something that we can do.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then when it's not on the day, like, we can talk to each other, right? Us as a community, we can have conversations with
Yeah.
each other
I-
and be there for each other, right?
I think I do that, to be honest, because I think because for me now people have become friends, like you,
Yeah.
Aki, Ashin, Dinu, whoever, like, I'm comfortable enough to have this conversation. And if there is something that's troubling me, I think I have addressed it to people. I think
Yeah.
I've told them, even if it's like my fault or their fault or whatever. And then we've always come to an agreement how to manage that, even if it's like time, or like something
That's
the
great,
brides.
yeah.
So I have done that, and I think I am quite comfortable to do that. I'm saying we don't do that often, though. We think,
probably
okay,
don't do it enough.
No, we
I think
don't.
we try and handle it ourselves.
Exactly,
Yes.
we don't. Like you
yeah.
said, the
But-
team on the day is very
Yeah.
helpful, and
But sometimes
everybody.
they also appreciate that
Yeah,
feedback, right?
yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I think they appreciate bringing
Yeah.
them into it because they know that they're part of
Exactly.
it as
Yes.
well. They're
Yeah.
not just like someone who's worked for hire, but
exactly.
Yeah.
they're emotionally invested too.
Yeah, exactly.
But great point that you mentioned. Like, I didn't really think of that. Like, if we're having an issue on the day and we're in a challenging situation and we're trying to handle that ourselves and dealing with the client, like even if it's a photography specific problem, like we can reach out to you and say, hey, like Sabrina, I'm having some trouble with this. How do you think,
Yeah.
is there a way I can
Yeah.
handle this? Like, how can we, is there a way we can deal with this together?
Exactly.
Can you help me on this? I think maybe we need to have
We
like
should.
those
We
conversations.
should,
Like
yeah.
and
And I think it's time we do that. It's
Yeah.
time, because we are not an older generation where we used to like deal things on
Yeah.
our own.
Yeah,
We are more
true.
open. We are more, accommodative of things,
Yeah.
And supportive
we-
also,
exactly,
right? Of each other.
exactly,
Yeah.
each
Like-
other. So I think it's important, and I think we need to create that space and discuss. We need to be honest. I think
Yeah.
most importantly,
Yeah.
be honest.
Be
I think we
honest.
should like stop
Yeah.
pretending every
Stop pretending
wedding.
that we have everything together.
No, and
Exactly,
pretending
yes.
every wedding is wonderful, because
Yeah.
it's not. Sometimes,
Sometimes,
it's
yeah.
it's draining. Yes, it turns out beautifully at the end of the day. It's because everybody put in that effort.
Yeah.
Not just the
Sure.
florist or not just the planner. It's every single person who brought it together.
Yeah.
So I think we need to create that space and be honest with each other of what it is, because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we are one team. We
Yeah.
are making someone's day good and great, but we are one team. It's not like Gishan, you're just doing photography,
Yeah.
or Renosha, you're just doing
Yeah.
planning. We are one day trying to bring that day into life for someone else. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it can be an absolute shit show.
It can, it can. Oh my God, it can,
Yeah.
I mean, for example, again, I'm not going to mention names, but one wedding, I'm sure when I say this, you'll know whose wedding I'm talking about. This particular wedding that you, myself, and Dino, we did, I had really like red flags when I was doing this wedding. And I remember reaching out to Dino and saying, Dino, I can't do this. I just can't.
I don't know.
You remember, right? And Dino said, Sabi, if you feel this, let go. But my feedback is don't. Take it on. You can do it, and we are there for you.
Yeah.
And those were
That means a lot.
That
really
means a lot,
meant,
yeah.
really
Means a lot,
meant. And I took that wedding, I took that wedding, and it turned out to be one of the best weddings I've done. And from that wedding, the weddings I got thereafter.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy
you
I
have
spoke
that
to you
kind of
guys.
support.
Yeah. And then I spoke to you
Definitely,
guys. If I just thought, okay, you know what, I'm not going to do this wedding because this is what I feel like, I would have lost a good wedding. I would have
Yeah.
lost weddings that's coming in, and they would have had a bad perception
Yeah.
about me as well.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I spoke to Dinu or you, and I addressed this and I spoke about it because I was comfortable enough. And I
Yeah.
think people need to
Yeah.
start being comfortable. No one's going to judge you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I
That's
think
the
that's
thing.
the difference in this generation, like our
Exactly.
generation.
Yeah.
Like we're more open and like more
Exactly.
supportive
No one's
to
going
each
to
other.
judge you just because
I
you're
think
having a
it's
bad.
I mean, if we're making ourselves more relatable, that
Exactly. Yes.
is so much better than
Exactly.
the alternative.
Yeah. I remember when I was pregnant with Yari in 2023, I was having a really bad day and in a personal matter. And then I was on my way to go, and then I was having a bad day. And I was late to go for this wedding, for setup in the morning. I was back-to-back wedding and I was pregnant. The couple was very sweet. And I called up and I said, Sam, can you hold fort until I got there? And she did, she did my job until I got there, made sure
Wow,
everybody was
amazing.
Yeah. Definitely.
amazing. And different story. Sam and I are friends, but for her to take that on meant that,
Somebody's there.
someone
Somebody
is
was-
there.
yeah,
So I
that's true.
think that's something that I also want to create in this industry with
I think
us.
these are all great things
Yeah.
that'll help us
Exactly.
Definitely,
Yeah.
in dealing with mental health
And I think
issues
with the
that we
group
face.
that you have
Yeah,
created
yeah.
as well, right?
I mean,
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes I have Nikki calling up and saying, Sabi, are you free on this day? Because,
Yeah.
I want to send this couple your way. I am booked.
Yeah.
Can you handle it?
Yeah. And
Those
yeah,
are
we refer work to each other.
Yeah,
exactly.
we
yeah.
know.
I
We
know
are-
Sabrina. I've sent a few your way.
I've
Like
Yeah.
sent
she
her
sent
way,
some way, yeah.
Akushla's way,
Yeah,
because we
like-
don't see us as competitors.
Yeah.
I see them
True.
as like other women coming up in life, and I'm one
Trying
of
to do
those.
their
Yeah,
best, right?
I'm one of those
Exactly.
people who will cheer on for anyone
That's
who's
amazing.
Yeah.
actually doing work.
And then another thing I wanted to mention was, and I noticed this some years ago when I started doing it, I wanted to put out to like other photographers that if they wanted to ask me about anything, they can at any point. And I didn't want people to get the impression that, I was not available, or just because, I have a lot more experience that I'm
Yeah.
not gonna share what I know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to gatekeep. You don't need
No.
to, you're not going to lose anything. Like, people sometimes are of the mentality that they're going to give away trade secrets
Yeah.
and things
Yeah.
like that. I mean, I'm sure
Like you could easily
You can
find
still
that.
find
a way
yeah.
to-
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Google, like
But I would prefer someone being honest with me. I would prefer someone and saying, hey, I'm starting a wedding planning business.
That's
Can you
true.
help me?
Yeah.
I hate it when people just send me inquiries like, can you send us your rate card?
Yeah.
You
Like,
know, the
straight
wedding
up
people
asking
do
the rate cards.
that.
Like,
I'm
I know what
like,
you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, when is the wedding? And they're like, oh, this is not booked. But yeah, I hate
I
that.
get a lot
I
of
know,
those
I
as
Just
well,
hate
be
that.
straight up
Be
and
straight
like, I mean,
up.
you would get a lot more out of
Yeah.
it if you're honest, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone to an extent where now I have put my starting prices on my website.
Yeah.
Easy,
Like,
easy,
Yeah.
right?
you
You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
have
if
to,
you
like,
want to look me up
I
and do your
know.
research,
Just go for it,
I'm
because
like,
like
yeah, because like we're
Yeah, 'cause-
transparent, we're not hiding anything, right?
yeah, because at the
exactly.
end of the day, it's not about just our pricing; it's our
Yeah.
experience, what we can offer you,
True.
right?
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I hate those people. I just can't deal with them. I'm like, you'd rather just, even if it's research for some other person, I'm like, you'd rather just call
Just
me
ask
up and
me. Yeah, be honest.
ask me.
Yeah.
This is for a research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we know? You
Yeah.
know, I hate it when
Yeah.
But
That's great. I mean, I think this is really good. So I mean,
Yeah.
people should feel free to, like, other
Yeah.
professionals feel free to reach out to
Yeah.
us. We should like talk
Definitely.
to each other.
talk to each other. That's very
Yeah.
important.
I still remember when I started out, like, I think you had a meeting with me, and like he was like much more experienced, and I was like, wow, like that was so nice.
Yeah.
Like, people just reaching out. We
Yeah.
didn't know each other
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
properly then. So that was like very
Yeah.
nice coming from like a
Yeah, and I was
senior-
saying, like,
yeah.
I mean, I think at that time you were still doing 9 to 5, right?
Exactly.
And
yes.
I was like, oh, when are you gonna
I know. He
when are you
kept,
gonna
like,
come
that,
in to do
that
weddings
felt
full
so
time?
good.
Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that kind of support, right?
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
somebody's
Yeah.
cheering you on.
For me, that's always been Nikki, actually, because I think I've known Nikki, like I said, from the time I came into the work life,
Mhm.
from since I was 18.
yeah.
Been seeing her at HSBC. Then when I move out from the bank, I met her at events and stuff like that. So she's been like one of those people always like pushing me and having confidence. You're like, if someone can do it, Sabi, it's you. Like, always said those words, and it means a lot when
Yeah.
someone senior who's had experience,
Yeah.
who's seen you. And this is something she makes fun of me. She's like, I've seen you in short skirts running around in the bag, Sabi. So and I'm like, okay, but it means a lot when
Yeah.
you have
That's
that
true.
support.
Yeah.
Just like Rinosha, I was also doing like a 9 to 5
Yeah.
job at
While
Cinnamon, and while I
managing.
was like
Mm.
transitioning, and I think 2018 that was, and like soon after I started, it was the April attack. Like, and then that was
No impact.
2019, and then we were
Yeah.
getting through that, then it was COVID.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. So it
Yeah,
was just going
yeah.
up and down and all of that.
I mean,
but
I think we underestimate how much those words of support mean to us.
Yeah.
That even when I have told someone something that's helpful, I always forget, and I'm surprised at the response. Like, they're so grateful and
Yeah.
thinking, "Oh wow, okay, that really helped them a lot."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful that
I
you
think-
had that experience.
Yeah,
in
I
which,
think because we've got that support, it's important we give that support to the people,
Pay it forward.
Yeah, I
right,
think
exactly, for sure.
the younger ones, that's coming up, or even if it's a competitor, even if it's someone you see working hard, I think it's important. Just a word or two, even if you're liking it, sharing it, reposting it really
Yeah,
matters.
now there are planners like Sabrina always does this. Like she, like whenever it's a beautiful setup,
yeah.
she goes
Sabrina's
like
like
lovely
resharing
setup,
things. Like
and
she didn't even do the wedding.
that's
She's
all.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
I love
so-
it.
such
Yeah.
a great
Beautiful,
cheerleader for
like,
us.
yeah,
I
exactly.
am. I honestly am. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker
that's
for
No,
those
that's-
like,
I think that's
why
what
you're doing
makes
so
you-
well. Yeah,
That's what makes you strong, in
yeah,
my opinion.
probably.
True.
But yeah.
Yeah,
agree.
because
Yeah.
that support, I think, is just so underrated.
Yeah, it is. I think it is underrated. And I think people are also very scared to do it. Like sometimes they're like, oh no, I'm a competitor,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
What would that make me look like,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask you guys about how this works here in Sri Lanka, commissions. So I've heard that, I've heard people saying that commission culture is toxic. Is there a place for it? So I know that there are some planners who claim to do it. Some do it openly. Some do it under the table. But like, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think it's something that's acceptable? Do you think it's okay depending on the circumstance?
I think it's acceptable if the client is informed about that. Like, for example, some planners do it on a percentage
Basis, exactly.
So that
But
makes
the client
sense.
knows about it.
The
Exactly.
client knows about it,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
But if you, for instance, say, okay, this is my fixed amount, you're paying this fee for wedding planning, then I think ethically there is an issue.
Yeah, definitely.
That's kind of my take on it.
Yeah,
you know,
same.
if you're doing it, you have to be
if you
open.
are doing it, you need to be open about it.
Yeah.
If vendors are giving you a commission because of the business,
Yeah.
that's separate. That's a mutual thing between vendors. But if you are commissioning on top of your
exactly.
quote,
Yes.
you need to
a
inform.
problem,
And that there's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Because it's like this. It's two ways. One of it is clients come to you asking for your recommendations, and then you
Exactly.
give a certain number of recommendations of
Yeah.
photography. But there are some clients who come and say, this is our budget, get whoever the vendor.
Yeah.
Then I have the privilege of getting whoever I want, right? If you are, say I'm getting you, Gisha, for example, and if I am keeping something on top of you, because I'm only providing one quote to that person
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
okay? If you are keeping a commission on top of your quote, you need to inform the client.
Yeah. I
The
think,
the thing
yeah.
is, what the client gain is, I'm getting the good names to you, but I'm also getting a amount from that quote because I'm getting you these names.
yeah.
Then you need to be open about it.
I think that's the issue. I think you've really nailed it, because I've had this conversation endlessly with other vendors. I think if the client is aware of it,
Yeah. It's a
that
different
is
story. Yeah.
a different
that's
story.
different.
That makes the
And I
difference.
think it's important that you do keep the client informed, because if the client gets to know,
That's where the trust,
Ah,
So
right?
the-
You lose the
Exactly.
trust.
Yeah,
right?
the
That's
issue that I've seen is now, a lot of the times where I've had people that have complained to me as well.
Yeah.
The client doesn't know about it, but this is happening. And the thing is, then you think, okay, the decision being made is not based on how good the vendor is or what a fit
Exactly,
they are.
yeah.
It's about how much you're getting from that
Exactly.
vendor.
Exactly.
So that's not in the client's best interest, right?
Exactly. And sometimes you lose out with clients. I've heard stories where
Yeah.
the client has got to know there are like you're paying extra. Sometimes not just like small amounts,
True.
it's double.
It's
Yeah.
And when
double,
the
yeah.
client gets to know, they cancel all the vendors
Yes.
and
Yeah.
everybody
And all the
loses
good
work.
parts. Yeah,
Yeah, all the good ones. And then you're like, that's just sad.
Yeah.
So you
No,
need to
agreed.
be open about
Yeah.
it. It is acceptable because in some countries, that's how some of them earn. And it's not
Yeah.
unethical because there are
Sometimes
businesses.
it makes sense.
Yeah, it
No,
does.
it's
Sometimes
accepted.
it
Like
makes
it's
sense.
like
Exactly.
in India, it's completely above
Yeah.
board.
Exactly.
And like the planners, they tell me up front, which is fine. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Like
Yeah, because
everyone knows what's going on.
exactly. As
Sure.
long as the client knows about it and
Yeah.
you're honest about it, then it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. But doing it
Yeah.
without them knowing,
Without them, that's where you lose the trust. After
Yeah.
that point, it's very difficult to build that again.
yeah,
With
you
that
Yeah.
same
can't.
client,
You
yes.
just can't.
And also, I think when you do that, what happens is you kind of fall into this trap where you get those types of clients anyway, like the ones who are not willing to kind of go the extra mile and say,
Exactly.
I want a really good I want the best,
Yeah.
but this is my budget. Then the
Exactly.
ones who are saying, give me the best price. And then you're getting clients who are not very discerning,
Yeah.
but then you're trying to make money off the commission and they're doing, things fall apart.
Exactly.
Then the client comes back and then you're in a whole lot of trouble.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's like the worst situation.
Yeah. Worst situation because they talk about it,
And then
right?
Sri Lanka,
Yeah.
as a result,
Yeah,
our
that's
reputation
the
gets
thing.
Exactly,
affected.
Yeah.
because then they're like, oh, Sri Lankans are like this. So you need to be
Yeah.
like mindful of who you're dealing with. That's the perception everybody will
Exactly.
have. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I want to wrap up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a couple of final questions and we'll wrap
Fun
up.
ones or
Yeah.
Uh,
ask us some
Fun ones.
questions.
I do want to do some fun ones, but there's
No,
a
just
particular
kidding.
thing I wanted to ask you guys.
oh my gosh. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you if you can tell me something personal that you're okay with sharing
Okay.
that has shaped you like into the person you're today.
Personal. How
Yeah.
personal are we talking?
As personal as anything that you're comfortable with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like in the wedding industry or in life?
Life in general, but even wedding industry is
Okay.
fine.
You go
You
first.
go
Oh
first.
no, I don't know. I have to think about this now.
Because my answer is actually pretty boring. I already said this. Like for me, what shaped me at the moment and gave me that confidence in trusting myself is taking that step to leave the corporate and to sort of
That's a
like
big step.
yeah, like it at that point it felt like a massive step. It still does. Like
It is a big step.
I
It
still
is.
when things get
It's,
hard, I'm like
I'd say now it's a huge step. Like
Yeah.
look at this
Yeah.
situation the
No,
world is in right now. Like
exactly.
can you
Like
imagine
that-
going
yeah.
from
That's why I said, like, when I started,
so
it was
brave.
the
Yeah.
Easter tax and then
Exactly.
COVID, and then Ashan's salary also cuts off, and you're like, what do we do
Yeah,
now?
what do
Thank
we-
God it was just the two of us back then. Life was quite
Yeah.
easy, I
Yeah,
suppose,
before
8 years
kids,
ago.
true.
If it happened now, we would have been like, I think someone needs to like really get into like a job that's like pays you every month.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So the goal is not to get back there, right? So
Yeah, no,
that's why
no.
whenever like it gets tough, like especially during like last month was like a lot of back-to-back weddings. December is the same. So when it happens like that, I'm always like, I have to remind myself, okay, it's this.
Yeah. There are the good
Oh,
months.
that,
There are
yeah,
the
it's-
Yeah.
Like choose your
Yeah.
heart, right? Like
Yeah.
you can't, like this is hard. That is also hard, like not being in a fulfilled
Yeah.
Yeah.
relationship with their job. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think what really shaped me was before Rafi, I had 2 miscarriages. I think I've spoken about this at different forums and I'm quite open about it. I'm not scared about it like I used to be to talk about it. But both of them happened in 2 different years, of course, but while at weddings.
Oh my
Yeah. So one was the day before the wedding, like just the night before the wedding, and one was during a wedding. So what really it was really tough because in my head I was losing something that I could have, cherished
Yeah.
or taken care of. At that time I was actually blaming my work as well because I was young at that time. I was working and all of that, but I was
Stress and everything.
yeah, maybe I don't know the reason, and I don't want to find the reason. But at that time when it happens, like you're thinking, oh, is this the reason? I'm at a
Yeah,
wedding, I'm
yeah.
running about. So I remember like the first time when it happened, and I had to like go. It was at Mount Rainier. It was a beach wedding, And I remember when it happened, I took Ashan because, it was, I think, just during COVID and I was having a miscarriage. I needed my husband to support me. While it was happening, you're thinking, oh gosh, I am losing, but I also need to put up a smile and coordinate
Yeah.
and making sure.
Yeah.
And when it happened the second time, it was at a wedding. And I'm like, I was
Oh my
like,
God.
Yeah. what am I going to do? Like, can I go home? No, I can't. You can't just move away from what you're doing. So at that time, I thought to myself, you know what? This is going to be my life. I have to be strong. I am strong now, but back then I did fall. I went to a corner and I cried. And I told my team and my team was really nice. They were so supportive. I remember they asked me to just sit. I was like, no, because at that moment you realize this is my life. I will have a sick child at home, but I'm going to come to a wedding and put a straight face. I have to, because what I realized is like that couple who's getting married would have had their own story too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
For them to come there earning or their parents spending. So my miscarriage was not as important as their wedding for them, right? I was losing, but I was also celebrating someone else's wedding. So I
Wow,
think
that's
that
so
real.
That is
beautiful.
such a
Yeah.
I
incredible way
think,
to look at it. Like, I mean,
Sabrina.
yeah,
I
I
don't
was
think
like,
I can't imagine like any
yeah,
one of us
I
in that
think
situation.
I talk about this and I realized, I remember talking about this, and that girl, that bride realized, and she was like, Sabrina, did you actually go through that during my wedding?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And then she's like, oh my God, why didn't you tell me? I was like, how can I? You were
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
married,
yeah.
And I mean, we are friends now, and we talk about this, and I'm very open about it because, again, for people in the wedding industry, I don't think people talk about this a lot. No. And it is important. And I think that really shaped me, how I look at things and how I behave at a wedding, how I carry myself. Even if I do have a problem, that's not relevant. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, that balancing and expectation versus reality is real, like emotionally draining. But at the end of the day, like what the wedding couple sees is different, Sabrina, out there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that shaped me up. Like that incident and facing that during a wedding was like, whoa, like, and yeah, I think that was what my story. So
Thank you
Yeah,
so
it's
much for
beautiful,
sharing.
yeah,
Like,
honestly.
really,
yeah,
thank
I'm
you for
so happy I
sharing.
didn't cry. I usually would have. I'm like, damn, I
we're
passed
both
that.
like feeling
I'm
like
also
crying.
feeling teary-eyed.
But yeah, if I had
Wow.
spoken in a different,
Props to you,
I think
man.
it's the cameras that's keeping me steady. But if not, I would have been tearing. But yeah, I think
So beautiful.
yeah, it's just yeah, I think, like, again, why I thought about when I spoke to Sam about these women behind the vows was actually these little stories that shaped me. And I'm like, Sam, why can you help me? I said, Sam, I want to do this. Can you? She's like, of course, like, let's do it. Let's just book a place. Like I said, I didn't really, it was an invitation basically. We didn't have a lot of people, and I didn't want to bring in everybody. I wanted to have a connection with people I know, and Sam knew.
Yeah.
Because some people do bring you down, and I didn't want that energy.
Yeah.
I wanted people to see someone as they are or what they can bring into the table.
Yeah.
There are people who will go back home and laugh about it and then say, oh, what was that, or talk negative. But that space was actually for people to connect and talk about. And like I said, I am now, I've come to a position where I can tell people are my friends, and I do have chats with them, even if it's at a wedding occasion. I'm happy that I have made that decision. Even if it's at a wedding, I speak to them about their kids, or I speak to them about, I make that time only because I know I might not see them for a while. Like, Hamna, when I go for table samples, I chat about her daughter a lot because I know she also doesn't have that. Sometimes, she loves talking. Hamna loves to chat, and like something she doesn't realize, or something that. So I am happy that I do that as well, because that's sort of a thing that I have experience where I haven't had that support. Now I know I can create that, and bring that community together so they can speak to each
That's
other.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
And I think with that, I want to say thank you guys for being a part of today's podcast.
No problem.
Thank you for
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
having us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been able to cover nearly as much as I wanted to because it's been
I
so
know.
good, like having
I'm
this
still waiting for
conversation with
those
you
rapid
guys.
fire questions.
Yeah, I
That's
think
fine.
the I might have to like send it to
Yeah,
you guys, and you do like a
text me.
solo video.
Yeah,
like,
wow. Do we actually have rapid?
No, no, no.
I'm
No,
like,
no.
wow.
I didn't actually have rapid fire for you guys,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
good.
think I got
Okay.
most of what I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you guys for
Thank you for having
being
us.
here.
I
so
hope
much,
like
yeah.
you actually got some good stuff.
It was amazing. I learned a lot myself,
Okay.
Yeah.
and I'm sure people watching will have learned so much as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.